Cooper Lutkenhaus is not just a high school track athlete. As of August 3, 2025, he is one of the fastest 800-meter runners in American history. At just 16 years old, the Northwest High School sophomore from Justin, Texas, shocked the world at the USATF Outdoor Championships in Eugene, Oregon by finishing second with a time of 1 minute 42.27 seconds. Not only did he break the world under 18 record by more than 3 seconds, he also became the 4th fastest American of all time in the event. The only men ahead of him, Bryce, Hoppel, Josh Hoey, and Donovan Brazier. The 800-meter final at Hayward Field had already promised fireworks. Donovan Brazier, once seen as America's best middle-distance hope, was back after nearly 3 years plagued by injuries and surgeries. Brazier had something to prove, and his blazing 142.16 to win the race was a comeback for the ages. But just behind him, Lutkenhaus had stolen the show. His jaw-dropping surge from the back of the pack and near sprint down the final 100 meters turned heads across the globe. To appreciate how wild this was, you have to understand where Lutkenhaus came from. As recently as June 3rd, his personal best was 146.86. That alone was considered elite for his age. Then came the Brooks PR Invitational on June 8th, where he ran 146.26, breaking a nearly 30-year-old high school record. Less than 2 weeks later, he clocked 145.45 at the Nike Outdoor Nationals, smashing his own record. So by the time the national championships arrived, he was already on fire. But no one expected this. The race itself was pure chaos. Reigning indoor champ Josh Hoey took out the pace fast, going through 400 meters in 49.29. Lutkenhaus wisely held back in 7th, cruising through the bell in 50.66. He trusted his closing speed, and that decision would define the outcome. With 150 meters left, he was still trailing a field of Olympians and national champions. But then, something switched. He moved like a bullet on the final straight, passing Brandon Miller, Bryce Hoppel, and almost catching Brazier at the line. That final 200 meters, clocked at 25.42 seconds. For comparison, that's closing speed you typically see from 400-meter specialists, and Cooper did it after 600 meters of all-out racing. The crowd at Hayward Field exploded. People weren't just impressed, they were stunned. Even Brazier, fresh off his emotional comeback win, made a beeline to hug the teenager who had just shattered records behind him. What Lutkenhaus accomplished wasn't just historic for his age. His time would have ranked as the American record just a year ago. He's now ahead of legends like Johnny Gray and just fractions behind Olympic medal contenders. Globally, he ranks 18th all-time in the 800 meters at any age. But what makes this story even more incredible is the poise and humility Cooper shows off the track. A product of a family steeped in education and athletics, his dad is an athletic director and his mom a middle school principal. Lutkenhaus is as grounded as they come. Teachers and teammates describe him as driven but humble, and Northwest ISD released a statement lauding his dedication and character. His coach, Chris Capo, has only been working with him for about a year, but the synergy is obvious. Capo implemented a training regimen focused on endurance, race awareness, and mental preparation. "We put all our faith in each other," Capo said. "This was a perfect match." That trust has yielded results most professionals would envy. The praise from track legends poured in immediately. Michael Granville, whose high school record Lutkenhaus obliterated, joked, "I said what? I did not know how to do the math." He added, "That's a young man following his coach and executing perfectly. There's more left in him." Make no mistake, this wasn't a fluke. Lutkenhaus advanced through his prelim and semifinal at the USATF Championships with strategic confidence. In the semi, he even stumbled past the 400-meter mark but still finished second in his heat. That earned him a place in the final, making him the youngest man ever to qualify for the U.S. national final in the 800 meters. And let's talk about the field he beat. Josh Hoey, the world indoor champion and undefeated against Americans this season, finished 4th. Brandon Miller, an Olympian, ran a personal best and placed 5th. Bryce Hoppel, who set the American record at the 2024 Olympics with a 141.67, could only manage 3rd. Lutkenhaus outkicked them all. The track community went wild. On social media, tweets comparing his run to elite equivalents in other events circulated rapidly. One viral tweet equated his 800-meter time to a 200-meter in 19.75, a 400-meter in 43.88, or a mile in 3:45.6. Insane numbers for a high school sophomore. Now, Cooper is Tokyo-bound. The World Athletics Championships take place September 13th to 21st, and Lutkenhaus will be the youngest American to ever compete at the event. The question isn't whether he'll be competitive, it's how far he can go. Could he make a final? Medal? Set another record? Lutkenhaus begins his junior year of high school on August 13th, just weeks before heading off to race against the fastest men on Earth. His focus remains on school and training. Just making the team, running that fast this young, it's special, he said after the race. From a Class 6A state title in May to world-class status in August, Cooper Lutkenhaus has crafted one of the most meteoric rises in American track and field history. And he did it without flash or hype, just sheer work, discipline, and belief. So what happens next? If his current trajectory continues, the name Lutkenhaus might soon be spoken in the same breath as the greatest middle-distance runners of all time. And if you think this is the peak, think again. This 16-year-old is just getting started. Make sure to subscribe and follow for more updates as we track Cooper's journey to Tokyo and beyond. And drop a comment. Where do you think he ranks among the greatest teen athletes in U.S. track history? This is the new standard, and his name is Cooper Lutkenhaus.
Trayvon Bromell's running away with this one at the moment. Good running on the inside from Assembly. But Trayvon Bromell storming this one and destroying that field. And look at the time, 9:84.
At the 2025 Rome Diamond League, Trayvon Bromell didn't just win a race, he declared war on doubt. Blazing down the straight in a stunning 9.84 seconds, Bromell ran the world's fastest 100-meter time of the year. But this wasn't just about numbers. It was about redemption, resilience, and reshaping the story that most believed was over. His performance left no room for interpretation. He didn't just beat the field, he crushed it. Emmanuel Assimi was left trailing at 9.99, Kenya's Ferdinand Omanyala clocked 10.01, and 2022 world champion Fred Kerley faded to 5th. Bromell's message was loud and clear. Count me out, and I'll remind you why I was never gone. For Trayvon Bromell, this comeback didn't start in Rome. It started in pain, in silence, and in shadows. At just 30 years old, Bromell's career has already felt like multiple lifetimes. Born in St. Petersburg, Florida in 1995, he was a prodigy long before he had a pro contract. In high school, he ran a wind-assisted 9.99, sending shockwaves through the sprinting world. That was no fluke. In 2014, while competing for Baylor University, he became the first junior to legally run under 10 seconds, clocking 9.97. That same year, he was named Most Outstanding Performer at the Texas Relays, joining the likes of Michael Johnson in track folklore. His 2014 season was electric, and he capped it with a USA Track and Field Junior Championship and a gold medal in the 4x100 meter at the Pan American Junior Championships. Bromell's collegiate career was short, but legendary. In 2015, he ran a personal best of 9.84 at the U.S. Championships and made the World Championship final, where he tied for bronze with Canada's Andre DeGrasse in one of the most iconic photo finishes ever. His sprinting was explosive, his form precise. The future looked inevitable. But 2016 brought heartbreak. At the Rio Olympics, he made the 100-meter final, finishing 8th. In the 4x100 meter relay, he anchored Team USA and appeared to win bronze, only to tear his Achilles diving at the finish line. Worse still, a botched exchange led to Team USA's disqualification. Bromell was devastated. That injury led to multiple surgeries, years of rehab, and a long stretch away from the sport. Between 2017 and 2019, he raced sparingly, often in pain. The media forgot him, but he never stopped believing. 2021 was the year he reminded the world. He won the U.S. Olympic trials in 9.80 seconds, a world-leading time. In Tokyo, however, heartbreak struck again. He failed to make the Olympic final, missing it by just 1 millisecond.
A foot out of the field there. Gatlin trying to go with him, and on the near side, Omanyala. Omanyala trying to dress, but he's come back to him.
Still, he roared back later that year at the Kip Keino Classic, running a stunning 9.76 at altitude, the fastest time of his life, and one of the fastest ever recorded. 2022 brought another high point. At the World Championships in Eugene, he finished third in the 100 meters, reclaiming a spot on the podium alongside Fred Kerley and Marvin Bryce. That medal meant everything. It was proof that after all the surgeries, setbacks, and doubts, he still belonged among the world's best. But even then, the critics lingered. Could he stay healthy? Could he peak at the right moment? That's what made Rome 2025 so special. Coming in just days after Kenny Bednarek's 9.86 world lead, Bromell obliterated the mark with his 9.84. What made it even more incredible was how effortless he made it look. His start was textbook, reaction, explosion, and drive. Midway, he extended his lead with every stride, and at the finish, he was cruising, not straining. That composure under pressure is the mark of greatness. Behind that relaxed form is a violent mix of power, technical execution, and lightning reflexes, honed over years of pain and persistence. Behind that performance is a grueling routine. Bromell trains under Rana Rader in Jacksonville, Florida, alongside other elite sprinters. His daily regimen includes explosive weight sessions, endless block drills, and technical refinement. Every aspect of his body and form is analyzed, tweaked, and pushed, but it's his mindset that sets him apart. Bromell has openly discussed his faith, crediting his resilience to God and a purpose that goes beyond medals. His comeback is not only athletic, but spiritual, a mission of proving what faith, discipline, and consistency can accomplish. Off the track, Bromell is thoughtful, humble, and driven. He's a role model to young athletes, often speaking about overcoming adversity, mental health, and staying focused when nobody's watching. He understands the pressure of the spotlight, but chooses to operate from a place of peace. That clarity shows in his racing. No theatrics, no mind games, just blistering speed and business-like execution. As 2025 unfolds, Bromell is now in perfect position heading into the U.S. Olympic trials. With his Rome performance, he's not just a contender, he's the man to beat. Paris is calling, and Bromell knows this might be his last Olympic shot. But unlike in 2016 or 2021, this time he arrives with the full package: speed, health, experience, and hunger. He's older, wiser, and more prepared than ever. His resurgence has reshaped the sprinting landscape. Fred Kerley, Noah Lyles, Christian Coleman, Kenny Bednarek, none can take their foot off the gas. Bromell has reminded them and the world that he is very much in the mix, and when he's on, there are few in history who can match him stride for stride. What Trayvon Bromell has accomplished isn't just a comeback. It's a masterclass in perseverance. It's a story of grit, faith, and raw determination. His career may not have been linear, but it has been powerful. Through every injury, every doubt, every missed medal, he kept showing up. And in Rome, he delivered the kind of moment that makes fans leap to their feet and rivals check the clock twice. As he crossed the line and looked up at the board, a rare grin broke across his face, a quiet celebration that said more than any flex or scream could. It was the expression of a man who knows the weight of every step it took to get there. Trayvon Bromell isn't just back, he's sprinting into legacy, and once again, the clock can't catch him. If you are inspired by Bromell's incredible comeback, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories from the world of track and field. Drop a comment below.
Whereas hanging in supremely well, Whittaker finishing, but nowhere near. It's going to be Sydney's win, 49-44.
At the 2025 U.S. Outdoor Championships in Eugene, Oregon, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone shocked the track world. Not with another record-breaking hurdle performance, but with what she didn't do. The reigning Olympic champion and world record holder in the 400-meter hurdles announced she would skip her signature event. Instead, she would run only the flat 400 meters. To many, it seemed unthinkable. Sydney and hurdles are synonymous, but what followed proved something even more surprising. This hurdle queen could dominate on a new stage and perhaps change the course of sprinting history. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone's legacy was already sealed long before Eugene. Born in 1999 in New Brunswick, New Jersey, she was running before most kids could spell hurdle. Raised in a family of track stars, her father, Willie, a former Olympic trials semifinalist, and her mother Mary, a standout half-miler, Sydney was built for speed. By age 14, she was already setting world age group records. At 16, she made the U.S. Olympic team, the youngest to do so since 1980. Her 54.15 at the trials became a world U18 best, and she ran at the Rio Olympics before finishing high school. Her dominance wasn't just about talent, it was about poise, fearlessness, and an unshakable belief in what was possible. After a brief but record-filled stint at the University of Kentucky, she turned professional in 2018 and signed with New Balance. Then came the coaching change that changed everything. In 2020, she began training under Bob Kersee, a man known for sculpting Olympic champions. Under Kersee's guidance, Sydney became nearly untouchable. From 2021 to 2024, she broke her own 400-meter hurdles world record 4 times. First 51.90, then 51.46 in Tokyo, then 50.68 at the 2022 World Championships in Eugene, and finally 50.37 at the 2024 Paris Olympics. No other woman had broken 52. She did it 4 times. Her dominance was so complete that her races became less about competition and more about chasing her own shadow. So when she stepped away from the hurdles in 2025, it wasn't a retreat. It was a challenge to herself. Could she succeed in the flat 400 at the same historic level? Her performances suggested an emphatic yes.
Remember last year when she won the World Championship at this venue, she told Lewis Johnson, anything is possible, whatever she puts her mind to. The meet record is 49.27. The American record is 48.70. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is a national champion at a new event at a 48.75.
In 2023, she clocked 48.74 at the U.S. Championships, just 4 hundredths off Sonia Richards-Ross's American record. In 2024, she posted multiple sub-49 times, including a 48.75 in New York and a 49.11 in Brussels. Her speed endurance was lethal, her form flawless. And now, with the hurdles behind her, she aimed to become the undisputed queen of the 400 flat. But Sydney's story isn't just about records. It's about evolution, about growth, about faith. In 2022, she married Andre Levrone Jr., a former NFL wide receiver turned seminary student. Together, they embodied a different kind of sports couple rooted in spirituality, purpose, and mission. Sydney began speaking openly about her Christian faith, her identity in God, and the emotional roller coaster of being a global icon. In January 2024, she released her memoir, Far Beyond Gold, chronicling her journey from prodigy to Olympic legend. It wasn't just a sports biography, it was a confession, a guide, a reflection on how fear, doubt, and faith can coexist. She also became a vocal advocate for mental health, athlete burnout, and the pressure cooker of public expectations. Unlike many stars who project invincibility, Sydney was raw and real. She'd talk about nerves, the weight of being the face of a sport, and the fear of failing in front of millions. But she never let that fear stop her, and that vulnerability made her even more magnetic. Her choice to switch to the flat 400 wasn't just a tactical move. It was symbolic. It said, I don't have to prove anything anymore. I choose challenge. I choose growth. And that mindset carried into her Grand Slam track debut. In early 2025, she signed on for Michael Johnson's Revolutionary Track League. It was tailor-made for Sydney, a mix of star power, global visibility, and competitive fire. In her first meet, she went head-to-head with the world's best in the 400 meters, clocking another sub-49 performance and announcing to the world she wasn't stepping down, she was stepping forward, and the response was massive.